Hello, welcome. Today, we're going to take it to the employers. These things, I see it, and we're done. We're tired of it. And as your advisor, no more excuses. It's time to get your stuff together. The Great Resignation, all of these things have fueled, and these issues that we're going to talk about today are going to help your employees feel better and your company be more productive. But you got to follow them. Okay? This is important. These are things that employees wish that employers knew. So pay attention. If you're an employer and you're doing any of these things, it's time to stop. It's time to start treating your employees better. We're going to talk about those steps. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help businesses and people thrive. I go live Monday through Friday, most weeks, right now, right at 11. That's what I'm doing here. Feel free to drop by and comment if you'd like. If you don't have time to stop, please leave a comment with any questions, anything that's burning, things that you're struggling with. I would love to learn about them, and more importantly, I'd love to help you with them. So please make sure to leave those comments below. I'm here to help. That's my goal and my purpose. So let's get started, shall we? All right. So, in case you're new to the world, things have changed. Employees aren't putting up with the same stuff that they've put up with in the past, hence the Great Resignation. The abuse of customers, the abuse by employers, and you may think, well, that's just how it works. And that's how it used to work. It doesn't work that way anymore, okay? You, as their employer, need to take ownership of these things. First and foremost, it's no longer where the employers make all the rules. That doesn't exist anymore. Your employees have a say, whether it be through quitting, or quiet quitting is the thing that seems to be new and popular, okay? Where they're least productive. But here's the thing. If you want to bring it back to whose fault that is, it's yours. Employers, it's your fault. Because you've been operating under the same assumptions that you've been doing for years, but the conditions have changed. Life has changed. And you need to adapt to the new reality of our business. And that's that employees are sick of being treated like crap. They deserve to be treated better than that. So we're going to talk about these steps, things that you can do to help your employees feel better and be able to keep them longer and no more quiet quitting. Number one, well, that was number one, actually. You need to adapt. Adapt to what the changing circumstances are. If you haven't started listening to your employees, we've talked about this. If you're not listening to your employees, you're not adapting, and you're going to be causing problems. And you're going to have people that are quitting. Unnecessarily, I might add, because a lot of people don't like looking for jobs. Most people don't like looking for jobs. And if you're creating such a toxic environment that you're forcing people to look for a job, you're costing yourself money. But this first is crucial. Treat your employees like human beings, not an investment with an ROI. I'm not saying that you can't look at them and say there's an investment to be made here and that there is an ROI on it, but there's a difference between treating them like that and treating them like people that have lives. One of the things that used to drive me nuts when I would work for a company is when They expected my life to revolve around everything they wanted me to do. But when I asked for measly time off to do something like go to a doctor's appointment or like, actually had the audacity to use my vacation time. Oh, well, that's not convenient for them. What? Like, what world? How is it not? I get that there's better times than others, but, you can't control when you get sick, number one. And number two, you shouldn't be made feel guilty for getting sick, especially in the era of post-COVID, post-everything. Treat your employees like humans that have lives, that have stress that's outside your office. Your job, the more you support your employees, the better job they're going to do. If there's an issue with productivity, which happens, talk to them about it. Don't give them a negative review before you talk to them about what's going on, because maybe in the context of their life, that review, their job performance is good enough in the context of their life, especially when you've known them to be better, right? Like, context matters. Their lives matter. And if you don't see that, you're going to run that risk of them quitting, whether it be quiet quitting or straight up quitting. I've worked for a lot of different companies. I've sold cars. I worked for a t-shirt company. I've worked a lot of different jobs previously. I've been an attorney for a while now, but my point is that the level of toxic environments that I've been exposed to would blow most of your minds. When I sold cars, it was the most toxic environment ever. Buying and selling a car, you want to know why you have a crappy experience buying a car most of the time? It's because the salespeople get treated like crap by the people that are in management, and then they wonder why people don't like buying cars, right? They like the car, but they don't like being treated like just another number, right? And I use that as an example because I want you to be thinking about these things. Treat your employees like human beings that have lives. Let them experience life along with the work. I used to say, I don't live to work, I work to live, right? Like if they're so wrapped up in their job that they can't find happiness outside of the job, burnout is a real thing. There are so many things that you can do to make your employees' lives better. First and foremost, treat them like people, not assets. Next, lead by example. Oh, this used to drive me nuts. When my boss would tell me to do something and then they would never do that something. Like they would not lead by example. It was always do as I say, not do as I do. And employees aren't stupid. Okay? They see it. Your example, the way you treat the company, not just the employees, I'm not suggesting that. The way you treat the employees is a direct reflection on how successful you'll be. Lead by example. Contrary to popular belief, Elon Musk, the way he's treating his employees is terrible. I won't even go into the details on that one, but it's not good. I would fire him if I could. If I was a board member of whatever. There's a way. But my point is that treat your company, lead by example. Elon Musk was championing, free speech, but then he's firing all the Twitter employees that are speaking out against him. And I mean, I laugh because it's absurd. He supposedly spent $44 billion on a company to restore freedom of speech, and then he can't handle the criticism from his own employees. That's not cool. So you can't treat your employees terrible and be a hypocrite and expect it to be successful, to have your employees want to work for you. One thing that I used to know, like information, next one is information does not belong in silos. People that can get on board with your vision for your company, we've talked about vivid vision in the past, are going to be much stronger employees when they understand how their job fits in the larger picture, right? Because they will feel like they're a part of something rather than just doing their job. If they feel that they have a purpose other than to grind day in and day out for you, you can do amazing things. There is so much opportunity there. Key information deserves to be shared with clarity, transparency. All of those things need to happen. You will find that your employees will work so much harder when they feel that way, when they feel like that what they're doing is more than just what they're doing. Okay? Next, please, if you're having meetings about meetings, stop it. Number one, they're a waste of time. Okay? If someone needs to go to the meeting, go to the meeting. But don't just have a meeting about a meeting. And I get not everybody can attend every meeting. I'm not suggesting that you have to attend every meeting. But having a meeting about a meeting is just a huge waste of time. They could be more productive and do better job, do better things with what they're doing than having a meeting about a meeting. If you can use email or other forms of communication like Slack, Teams, even a video conference, why waste everyone's hour time at a meeting that fits during the week when you could send out an email that outlines all of the same information and they can read? Sometimes it's nice to get together, but isn't it better to get together when you want to get together rather than just to get together for the sake of a meeting that nobody really wants to be there for? So cut out unnecessary, useless meetings. Okay? Superfluous meetings should be gone. Employees don't like them. They're not that useful. Most people are spending it playing on their phones because they're, forgive me, boring. And they're a lot longer than they need to be. If you're having a meeting, it should be short, sweet, and to the point. Straight up. No difference on that one. I will die on that hill, so to speak. Short, sweet, to the point. If you're having too long of a meeting, if you're having a meeting where people are checking out, and I've been at those meetings, both on the giving and the receiving end, neither one is fun. Like that you have to cover this information. Again, find a way that works for people. If it needs to be shared, maybe do a Loom video where you're walking people through what's happening so they can watch it on their own time rather than having to get everybody together to meet to do this meeting, right? So use other forms. There's so many technological drivers out there. There's so much opportunity there. Don't use things that use the right tool for the job. You don't chop down a tree with a sledgehammer. You use an axe. If something's not working, stop it and do something else. Make better choices. All right. Show appreciation to your employees, even for little things. I'm not suggesting you have to be overly praising because people can feel the fakeness of that. Okay. But I'm saying the words please and thank you, they go a long way today. Things that used to be common aren't so common anymore. Going the extra mile by saying thank you. I know they're doing their job. Yes, they're getting paid for their job. But employees that receive praise and appreciation are significantly less likely to quit, are significantly less likely to feel the same stresses that go with someone that's just expecting them to do their job and get a paycheck for it. You're recognizing the human part of it rather than just the mechanical, they're doing their job machine. That's so important. The pleases and thank yous and the job well done and the things that give people that meaning that I'm talking about will have them making better choices. You will see that their quality of work improves. You will see that their call out for being sick is reduced because they feel, rather than simply stress when they go to work, they feel appreciation and joy. They feel the opportunity to help. Appreciation goes a long way. Giving someone the afternoon off with pay that isn't deducted from their PTO as a way of saying thank you is huge. These are all things that you can do to improve your workplace culture, to give them reasons to stay. If you create a culture of positivity and enjoyment, all of these things that I'm discussing, you're going to reduce the amount of people that quit, either quiet or otherwise. You're going to reduce the amount of sickness because people won't be frustrated about having to show up in the morning. Right? Remember, we're talking about the context of people, bosses, recognizing that employees are people, not just there to do a job. If you see someone struggling with something, rather than piling on, which is what a lot of employers do, see if there's a way that you can relieve that stress. Now, can you solve every problem? No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that every situation is easy for an employer to work with and to fix. Sometimes it's just not possible, and I get that. But do your best to work with the employee to build that positive relationship and opportunity with them. All right. Next, be flexible with the way things are accomplished. With our crazy mobile society, we no longer have to be in the office 9 to 5 to get things done. If someone can go to the beach or go to their favorite mountaintop and work and feel like a human being, and the work still gets done, why do they need to be in the office to do it? They don't. As long as the thing that's getting done gets done, let them do it. Treat them like an adult. Treat them like a person that's responsible for a job. Give them the task and let them do it the way that they want to do it and the way that they want to do it. Why not? Showing up for FaceTime? I mean, we learned through the pandemic that that's not even a thing anymore. Zoom works for a lot of stuff. Having them write a better something or do a better something out of the office at their favorite spot, it gets done, it gets done. If you are so worried about them getting it done, that's a you problem, not a them problem. Like I'm talking about micromanagement here. If you can't let go of things to let them do it the way that they know how to do it, presumably, and the way in which they can get it done, that's a management problem. That's not an employee problem. If anything, you're going to give them, because you respect them enough and you show them that you care, you're going to give them more incentive to do a better job. Imagine being able to work, and maybe they don't want to work that way. I'm just using that as a for instance. If they're able to go and work in a coffee shop and that's good enough for them, where they enjoy it and that's where they get their creative, wherever they're able to do their best work, right? People don't always do their best work in the office. Sometimes they do their best work not in the office. So being flexible on how you're getting to your goals. If you get to the same destination and you take a different road and you enjoy the journey more, then that's worth it. If you're annoyed and you're frustrated because you got there so quickly, yeah, you got to the same destination, but you burned that person out in the process because it was so much faster, or it was so much harder because of the way you wanted it to be done instead of the way they wanted to do it. sure, you got the goal, you ended up with the results, but now your employee is less happy, less willing to perform. Give them reasons to perform. Give them more reason to be happy. All right. Last, but certainly not least, transparency. There is nothing better than an employer that is transparent. An employer that sits down and discusses the vision, the goals, the steps that are going to help them be successful, right? As I was saying earlier about how their work fits in the puzzle pieces and how that can help drive those goals. It'll help them make better decisions about their job because they'll say, is this work that I'm doing, is it consistent with these goals? Is it consistent with the vision for this company? Or is it inconsistent? And trusting them with that. When you're transparent as an employer, that builds trust. If your employees trust you, they will work harder for you. The biggest problem I see is a lot of employers don't trust their employees, and their employees don't trust their employers. Because we've come to a society where we're very transactional. We're no longer relationship building. So I would encourage you to be more relationship building. It's a lot harder to do a terrible job for somebody that you admire and trust. Boss, company, all of these things. When you trust someone and they trust you, that's a beautiful relationship. But that takes work on both parties' parts. You can't just expect the employee to trust you when you've done nothing to trust them. Trust them with your vision. Trust them with your goals. The more you trust, and I get it. A lot of employers are afraid of trusting their employees because they've been burned in the past when they've trusted their employees. Well, so-and-so did this bad thing. Here's the problem. The new person isn't that employee that burned your trust. Lose the trust for the person that messed up, that made the bad choice. Don't lose the trust for the person coming in. Don't be cynical about that. Transparency says, are you going to get burned occasionally? Yeah, you are. But the more transparent you are, the less likely that's going to be. The more you trust your employees, the less likely that's going to be. People like to be trusted. There's not a single person on this earth that doesn't want to be trusted. Now, there are some caveats to that, and we're not going to dive into those. But the point is, do better. We live in a different world than the world that existed 30 years ago when you worked for the same company for your entire life. And you got a gold watch at the end of your work and a pension to retire on. That doesn't exist anymore. We don't live in those times. You want to keep people from quitting? You want people from quiet quitting? Start these steps today. Start implementing plans to do better, to treat your employees better. There's nothing that kills morale more than layoffs, which we've just heard about several. Facebook laying off, Amazon laying off, because it's all about the numbers to them. It's all about the bottom line. And I get that there still needs to be a bottom line focus, but when you shift that focus to helping people and treating people like humans and that have value and that you can trust to do their job, then the short-term gain by laying off is offset by the long-term gain of keeping people, because the people matter more than the bottom line. Over the long haul, companies that lay off are less profitable than companies that keep people on. Because there's a lot of in-house knowledge that gets lost in those transitions and those eliminations of positions. Find ways to keep people, and they will respect that. I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, and I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. But the bottom line is not more important than the people, ever. All right. That's it. Those are the things. So, if you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.